That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
What?
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
Nope, it's not.
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
They broke the doorknob.
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
Yeah. The killer struggled to get into the bathroom, and the evidence proves that it is the object the killer broke. Yeah, where is it?
I got it! Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Yep.
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
Doorknob was broken.
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the
entire doorknob.
room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
Yep.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room?
Yeah, because why would he? Because that one is... There's a trick to it. He wouldn't need to break it.
But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident
We're sorry.
unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Critical say was a bit wondering that. I honestly noticed at first, but is that the key point here? It's a bit more to learn about non-stop debate. We'd like to hear more. Yeah. From here on out, the number of weak spots will start going up. But no matter how many weak spots, there's essentially only one line of orchestration in that debate. What I'm trying to say is not always what you see are necessarily false. You see truth on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you also lower your trust with them, and your influence guards will take damage. Now this is important because your influence guard reaches 0, you fail. You have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actualized or contradictions. And good luck and have fun. Uh-oh. Bathroom door thing.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Very true. Sorry.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
Oh.
No, that's wrong.
Yep.
reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't the bathroom door open?
Because it didn't fit in the frame.
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yep.
Yep, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door. That's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open...
Wait, hold on. Bro.
was just because it was stuck.
Sometimes it skips.
But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Yep.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place?
Then would they open?
Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
Killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked, so they didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. In other words, the important detail about the scene of the crime that they didn't know. Oh, crime.
I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
Yeah, those. Oh, the nameplates.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's
Maybe Sayaka
inconceivable.
switched the nameplates.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms.
Yep.
Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
Yep.
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
Yep.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door open.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Yep.
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
So I've been trying to say, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
Chill, Mondo.
I'm sorry,
Come on,
but
Bara.
I give up! Quit without saving!
But
Can't
what
quit.
happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
We all die.
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
We don't know who the killer is yet.
Majority rules? Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Yeah, that's Suku from SAL, the same voice actor.
Oh, you...
You gotta sound so disappointed.
Right?
It's
They hate
fine,
it.
it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yeah. how did the killer get inside?
Yeah, it should have been locked.
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
She wouldn't do that.
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
That sounds like Rin from Legend of Heroes, Treasure Code Seal.
Then maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Yeah, I think that's Rin Schwarzer, the voice actor.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way.
How?
They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Ms. Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
True.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place.
Oh, this guy's annoying.
Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Because she asked me to do something particular, so how frightened she was. That's the answer right there. No respect to let someone in because... Oh, Sasha? No, I mean, maybe not. You just proved my theory, so let's simply lose why I'm I to embarrass myself in front of everyone. No! Wait, what?
I got it!
Is that it?
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
Yeah. Single free, so no matter who it is, don't open your door for anyone. Even if I'm sure she also won't open, otherwise, what's the point of me switching?
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
True.
What if her being scared was a lie?
What?
Huh?
Seems scared.
Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
There's something I want to talk to you about, just us two. Come in and come see me in my room. Oh yeah, that now. Check the nameplate to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words.
True.
When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
True.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No.
No, I didn't. But
Of course you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
In that note, Sayaka wrote it?
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
No, that's wrong! The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
Yep.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name.
Yep.
And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Yep.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Nope, it wasn't.
Right?
Okay, then who did it?
The one person who got switched the nameplates. The only person who knew who had switched.
I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
Yep.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Something I want to talk to you about. Just us in 5 minutes. Come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
Yep.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
Yeah.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Right.
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah, what's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself.
True.
It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
Ouch.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
There's any cycle wants to look with sword is because when you look at her words, there's no doubt.
I got it!
You got
All
it.
you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen, there's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
Yep, glitter.
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword! Right there on her wrist!
Yep.
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
We still don't know who did it. What happened in my room and what lights I did that. That's what we need to make clear. Speaking of learn about also debates. Like to hear more? Absolutely. We get used to this non-stop debate. Turn with the next debate. I'll start loading multiple bullets into your shoot cylinder. Just like with the weak spot, only one of those bullets catcher will feed the proper statements. In other words, from here on now, you have to combine the true bullet with the right weak spot to refute each statement. If you come up with the wrong combination, you'll take damage. You can press L1 to wait to send into which bullet to fire. Press and wait L1 to circle to each bullet, or you can hold the L1 when least left. Boy, if the logic difficulty is set to climb fewer bullets, the low rating is larger. For our purpose, that the logic difficulty. For our part, what? The logic difficulty will be set to mean. So the right half part.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. The sword-based sneak attack!
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, actually, so we're saying, I have actually no idea.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. The sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
You think it's so nice as well? Oh no, I'm gonna die.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away. But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
If the person will start reading the attack first, the search point to figure out which part of the sword got damaged.
When the fighting broke out,
what?
The culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. The sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Shoot!
No!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away. But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
So we did attack first, the rest of the house and the sword got damaged.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based sneak...
And that's what broke Miss...
So, she grabbed the kitchen, but then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
And that's what broke Miss Mizono's wrist!
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Shoot!
There. Oh, let's try this again. What?
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and And that's when the first blow was dealt. The sword-based sneak attack!
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. The sword-based sneak attack!
No, it's wrong!
Break.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword's sheath had been scratched.
Yep.
See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath.
True.
If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
Yep.
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
True.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
Oh, so it was Sayaka.
I think I get it! So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Part of the part that shows she never used the sword. If you want to use the sword with part of the body, would have to touch it.
I got it!
Sonic, what the hell?
You're talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Because the gold.
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle.
Yep.
It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands.
Yep.
There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
What? No way.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
What?
No, that's not it at all.
Legit. There's no way Sayaka wants to go coat off her hands because there's a correct list that talks about what happens. The water was off.
According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower.
What?
Oh my.
The one they think.
You're no different. You smell like a big, fat, ugly donkey.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword.
Yep.
But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
The one who damaged the sheath would have had to take the one without it. Killer had the kitchen knife after all. They would both the sword and the knife and attack Sayaka with both of them. If they had both weapons, how would the strikes have got on the sheet? I don't see any way for that to happen. Oh shit. like
I got it!
might be so bad.
Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
And the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
What?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
That's crazy.
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct?
Yeah.
Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
Sayaka
Maybe.
wanted to... on me?
Damn, she is using us.
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Holy shit!
Damn.
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned.
Suddenly turn her into that at the hand. The one she planned to
Just
murder.
hold on! That can't be true! Because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument.
True.
You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
True.
Oh yeah, we gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Yeah. Read over a lot. Also, I'm committed to find out who the killer, but what can I do? I mean, as far as clues go, there's nothing left. Oh, the number, yeah.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
Very well. Then let's review all the clues we've found up to this point one more time.
Do we really have time for all that?
Die! Die! We don't do something, we're all gonna die!
So, from survey, set left the wall. Wall should lead up against.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
No, that's wrong!
Still one more. Oh, maybe two more. The shirt,
There
too.
still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Yep.
Dining. Wait, what did you say?
Dying
The
message.
dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037. Written in her own blood. There must be a clue about the killer hidden in there.
Oh, it's him. Backwards it says Leon.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
Of course. There's no question that Sayaka wrote the message. Alright, rest. I know who was right. What does that help us now? Hey, just stand there. No, fuck.
I got it! Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure, I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, what the heck do those numbers mean?
This is Leon backwards.
1037?
Yeah.
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What?
Leon.
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1, 1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Yeah, it looks like an N.
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1, 1, but... Looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Yep.
Whoa. You might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little princess are really getting excited.